It is once again that time of the year where NXT tries to rise above the West. Despite the fact this year more than ever, you might as well say they are simulated. And it's not during WrestleMania week, but it is their time to truly try and show that they can stand and deliver. And this is simply predicting NXT Stand and Deliver. Welcome to the discussion. Let's do this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Simply Reliable Studios. This is Men's Brandon for another rousing edition of Simply Predicting Anything But you know what this is. For I am the Simple Man of the Simple Brand, the voice of the for a grateful for all things professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noel Foster, and thank you all for tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. And if you want to dictate the conversation, super chat or PayPal the passions is as simple as that. If you are part of the NXT League or want to be part of it, of course, your opinions matter too. Let them be known in the chat as we go through the matches tonight. And also, of course, you want to be part of the league, be sure to fill out the Petition League's form. It will be available, of course, after the stream concludes in the comment section down below of each of the channels you are seeing this on, as well as, of course, my social media and the community tab on my YouTube. Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce tonight's wonderful panel. First and foremost, he represents this brand more than anyone else that I know in the existence of this brand becoming what it is today. Damn it. And again, I don't, put against him, but like I said, there was a peak and then there's this. But it's always good to have the CEO of Casting Studios and honestly one of the brainchilds behind SR Studios 2024, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams. JJ, how are you this fight evening? Looking forward possibly to your NXT Stand and Delivering on YouTube for free in St. Louis.
First of all, I'm doing well. Good to be seen as always. I love how you give me credit still for this being my NXT when, while I definitely still claim this NXT, despite you forever claiming not your NXT.
Damn it.
I haven't watched an episode of NXT television, I think, all year long. At least not since we did the New Year's Evil watch-along. So, And if I have, it's been few and far between. So I am going in here blind as a bat. Shout out to Batty for wrestling. Follow her.
Keep plug, but also I agree.
But yeah, I mean, if there's one day a year where my brand always shows up and shows out, and as much as you dislike them, you can admit it, it's this night, Stand and Deliver.
All right. Well, we'll see if it's Stand Deliver is better than the song that used to be in Burnout Paradise. And I make the video game reference for our fellow gamer here on the panel who likes to play TMNT and sometimes 4,000 Manhole cover. But it's always good to have Simply Predicting regular Charles Schultz, a.k.a. the permanent avatar man, it seems. Charles, how you feeling about NXT Stand Deliver this weekend?
One, I feel good, and also, damn it, Noah.
You'll fly for the rest of your life, bro.
I know I will. I know it will. But also, I cannot wait for that. I can wait to watch Stand Delivered on YouTube, which I hope it might be a permanent thing, please. That's all I ask.
I'm about to say, geez, I wonder why that's a friggin' statement. All right. Simple enough. Well, either way, I'm sure they will serve you well this Saturday. Speaking of serving you great content or always wondering what's on the menu or providing you what's on the menu, this is a very rare occasion because it's not AEW. But please welcome a regular here that has really progressed in professionalism and has really guided the strength and evolution of the Simple Album Studios. And it's a great friend, one of our fellow friends, the Canadian Connection. It's great to have Nick here tonight, and shout out to Mrs. Ferrantes as well. Mr. Nick Ferrantes. Nick, how are you this evening? Welcome to Simply Predicting NXT Stand Deliver. What brings you here tonight? How you feeling about the show this weekend?
First, thank you for having me. I do not watch NXT, but I'm gonna give it a shot because, and you know, you're talking so much of professionalism. I'm gonna give it a shot because one of my all-time favorite wrestlers is on this card. Yeah, like honestly, you know, Joe Hendry is just a great name, and he's just he appears. Joe Hendry. It's something about Joe Hendry that just gets me every time. I don't know what it is. What'd you say, Hendry? It's Joe Hendry.
Stop that! You're not trying to overkill.
Yeah, I love how professionalism, huh, Nick? Huh?
Professionalism, my ass!
You came on the show specifically because Joe Hendry and just annoying Noah. I love it.
And I can't scroll to stop the producer, man, because for some reason I can't scroll through the damn accent.
Well, Noah, welcome for a land of crazy, my friend. Yeah, you got to deal with 3 people. It's going to drive you nuts.
Well, damn it, but thank you for that. And I do believe we will indeed have a rousing discussion once again on To The Predicting. Simple Man approved. Got to give the people in the NXT universe that cares about this brand still with those layers mean what they want to. Just like the TNA faithful or the people that are still there in that crowd like me. But nonetheless, thank you for that, Nick. And yeah, folks, I'm sure you won't hear that name for the last time tonight. And of course, that will be our main event, but we also have much more before that. So I will say this again, it definitely is not my NXT. I've already claimed that verbatim like a gospel itself. Considering what's happening this weekend, it seems kind of polite to say that. But I will say this, the card looked promising. And after what I saw, courtesy of WWE Matches on YouTube, subscribe today to that channel, folks, to save you plenty of my subscription services and keep up with WWE content without all the advertising bullshit. Thank me later. There definitely is some good content here, despite the fact they got that tramp stamp sexy red back on here again. Show grade down by 1. I definitely am looking forward to some of the matches here. So without further ado, To The Predicting community, analysts, enthusiasts, NXT followers galore, and sexy red haters like I as well. Let's get right into it. So again, folks, this is NXT's magnum opus for the calendar year. This is their grand stage. This is NXT Stand and Deliver. It comes to us this year from the archway of the professional wrestling business, in my opinion. St. Louis, Missouri, that is so rich in professional wrestling history. And it will be, again, for free this weekend. It starts 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on their YouTube channel. That is the WWE NXT YouTube channel, exclusively here in the States. But if you are international or Canadian, it will be, of course, Netflix International. And again, we will be going live, of course, for the show, probably about 7:45, if I had to guess, ahead of everything else that's going to ensue this weekend. Of course, also following all other stuff happening on Saturday. And we have, it looks like, after looking at the latest announcements from Robert Stone, a total of 6 matches. Let's go ahead and get right into the shebang. And about to say, Dwayne Atkinson, good to see you in the chat. And damn it, he's on the bandwagon too. And, well, even if you're in Las Vegas and you're drunk, even in the red light district, you're probably right. Let's go ahead and move on from there.
Sexy red.
The less you know about her, the better. Let's go ahead and move on from there. I don't think Seth Rogen even knows who Sexy Red is, and he survived the night of the Pineapple Express. That's the only movie reference you're getting tonight. Let's go ahead and get into this card. First and foremost, we have this ship. I do not care about this match. I have little no interest in this match, but it still is a match. Vanity Product defends the NXT Tag Team Championships against Los Americanos. You all might remember them at one point in the past life as Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, and I believe Ludwig Kaiser, but that's a whole different conversation. JJ, shut the fuck up or I'll cancel you off this stream. Vanity Product came from Evolve and took the Tag Team Championships from Dark State, where now they no longer sit in the dark. They sit a rainbow bright rip-off Vogue era teen pop sensation, rip-off boy band group you would think from this shot alone. Nonetheless, these 2 men are defending the titles now against Los Americanos, basically events that happened this past Tuesday on NXT with that faction I give 2 shits about called The Birthright. And basically, they shocked the world after the Americanos came down to NXT and replaced the Speed Champion and basically proved that they were able to get this shot after knocking off both the Calling and the Birthright. Yes, folks, those are still things. So why these Raw utility extras from somewhere down in Mexico are down here in NXT to claim the NXT Gold? Do you believe there will be brand new NXT Tag Team Champions? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this match. As always, here it's the predicting for those that don't know how this forum goes. Based on the size of the card and the size of the panel, everyone will get to say their piece here. Usually with a card that has much more of a higher quantity and quality and a bigger panel size, usually only let one person give a dissertation, then we agree to disagree and move on. I don't think all that's going to be said here because, again, it's Raw versus NXT. You fucking kidding me? Well, let's go around the horn and see what you think. And we will start things off, simply put, tonight going clockwise and go from there. So JJ will be the first one to kick things off. And I'm sure he'll tell us a lot about how much we have evolved this tag team championship run with the Vanity product now in NXT. All right, JJ, go ahead and lend your thoughts towards this and why El Grande Americano might believe even the Americanos have a snowball chance in hell or in Rio de Janeiro. I know that's Brazil, folks, but hey, it's like it seems, I think. What do you guys say? Or Reno? Actually, Reno might be more appropriate here, even though it's not Las Vegas. What do you guys say regarding the tag team championships? If Vanity Product loses with us, Los Americanos be booted back to Monday Night Raw in the box. Go ahead.
Okay, that's a lot to digest. First things first. Let me just address how sad I am that this is not a part of the WrestleMania weekend festivities. I was very much looking forward to going to this show. Walter and I were both looking forward to going to Stand and Deliver. Probably the only WWE show, not counting the ID showcase, that we were going to do the whole weekend. And they took it away from me. Damn it. Second of all, come a little closer. Come a little closer to the edge of the screen there.
You get this far.
Bah! Put some respect on the Vanity Project. God damn it. The entire point of NXT is supposed to be a proving ground for the future of the company. If Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, and Jackson Drake are not that in a nutshell, then the entire pool of future talent needs to just get flushed down the toilet from the jump.
Note to self, add toilet sound to sound bites going forward.
These two specifically, Brad and Ricky, are very much the future of the company. They may have some of the most punchable faces, but if they can keep them together and not destroy a good tag team, they could literally be the next wave, at least in WWE, on the level of like Busta and the Brain. They literally have that much untapped potential. And at their age, they're only going to get better with more reps and more experience. The Americanos are just here because, to your point, it's Pete Dunne, assuming, well, no, not assuming because it's not part of WrestleMania weekend. Damn it. But it's Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate that are just here to give back to where they came from a couple years ago. Much in the same way that a couple of years ago we had, Johnny Gargano back on the show. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be a solid match. But to Dwayne's point in the chat, champs are retaining. And I implore you, sir, please, you don't do it in AJ Francis, and I do that mainly to jest with you. But for the future, please put some respect on the Vanity Project's name. Please.
Respect is there and not given. All right.
Tune in Tuesday nights and they'll earn your respect. But much like the Pink Ranger, you don't work Tuesdays.
Damn fucking right. Never will.
So can't earn something if you're not willing to give them the time of day.
Well, can't earn something if you're not worth investing in my opinion.
They are worth it.
Take my word for it. All right, we'll see. Hey, either way, I'm on the call for this shebang. We'll see what happens. And it also sounds like just a desperate plea to get more ticket sales. I'm sure this sold out great. All right, very good. So we got one retainment. Does anyone else honestly have anything to say regarding this match as well? He knows one person. Charles, you follow everything. You're probably a little crazier than me because you actually follow more WWE stuff live, it seems. Do you want to add anything to this match? You are next. Do you have a difference in opinion or just briefly say they retain so we can move on to Nick and get away from this?
First of all, put some respect on the Americanos. First of all, that's number one. That's number one.
Off.
Just saying, if JJ wasn't going to say, I will.
The fact of the matter that you guys are holding this in a higher regard right now with an echelon of tag team wrestling and WWE in the same sense where no one gives two shits about the Raw and SmackDown tag team division, their championships, is saying something.
Look, if this show was in Mexico, just saying, Carl will be over. Americanos are over. But I agree with JJ. The champs are retaining this.
All right.
We just kind of weird. Which else is kind of funny. They're most faced. The lowest data faces in NXT, like at the main roster, are not liked. So weird.
Yeah, consistency.
And they're over at AAA too. Faces there's like we just keep.
What's a heel? What's a face? What you boo? What you cheer? What's consistency anymore? Especially in the WWE ecosystem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't exist.
Exactly.
But apparently entertainment does. And I also will agree as much as, again, don't care about this at all. I will say they will retain because at the end of the day, they are the tag team, I guess, in NXT or the newest cream of the crop, the newest kids on the block. There you go. All right. Well, I'm sure all the other kids with their pumped up kids will get some excitement out of this. Nick, what do you guys say regarding this match? Do you also have anything further to add besides the fact that we believe they will retain? Do you know anything about the Vanity product or the Americanos that hasn't been shared here yet? Lend your thoughts.
Okay. Couple things. Okay, this is going to be a thing. I understand. Okay, well, I don't understand because maybe I don't watch the product. So, I hope if people are watching, if I say anything that is wrong, I hope people reach out and correct me. I get the Americanos gimmick. I get it. I don't understand why we're keeping, just in general, why we're keeping two wrestlers like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate in masks. Like they're so much better than this. So that's one thing, and I'm just like, dude, the Bruiserweight, and again, it was a different era of NXT, but Tyler Bate and Trent Seven, weren't they Mustache Mountain? Mm-hmm. Back in the day,
absolutely correct.
And Tyler Bate was a stud. The Bruiserweight, like that whole gimmick, like that was, he had those bangers with him and Walter back in the day. Like I don't understand why this gimmick is still a thing. I don't understand why they're all in, why this faction is on NXT when you're trying to do something, or we should be forwarding the story, and again, correct me if they haven't forwarded it, but we should be forwarding the story of the whole, the Spider-Man meme. Like, shouldn't we be forwarding that? Like, I don't understand why they're metal. I still don't understand in 2026, with the sheer talent of Evolve and NXT in general, and NXT proper, do we still have main roster level talent? And I get what you were saying, JJ, about giving back. Like, I understand that point. I don't understand why we're still having main roster talent on NXT. It still doesn't sit well with me. Like, NXT should be where you're there before the main roster. The Los Americanos gimmick, the Grande Americano gimmick, that is a main roster gimmick, and it should be staying on the main roster because for WrestleMania, at least until it gets announced, we should be having a mask versus mask match with both like we should be doing something with both Grande Americanos, right? So I don't know why they're meddling in. I don't know why they're meddling in NXT. I'm gonna go against the grain, and I'm gonna say that the Americanos are winning. The reason why I say that is just to get, putting the NXT Tag Teams Championships on a main roster star. They've done it before. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't.
That's fair. I mean, heck, the New Day beat Pretty Deadly for the NXT Tag Team Championships, one of the biggest WTFs back in the early days, although that was Rumble Bride, not post-Rumble Bride. But I see what you mean. And to your point, El Grande Americano took out El Grande Americano, then El Grande Americano faced Pentasa Miero for the Intercontinental Championship, and they followed up with nothing since that point. So as far as El Grande Americano and El Grande Americano, nothing is settled yet with those two, where I believe they did finally have a one-on-one match, but I think El Grande Americano beat El Grande Americano. We have not seen an interaction with El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano since, but El Grande Americano on exclusive did say that he plans to expose El Grande Americano for the fraud that he is. Now, whether or not El Grande Americano accomplishes that against El Grande Americano at WrestleMania, that remains to be seen. But clearly, El Grande Americano is not done with El Grande Americano, so El Grande Americano might show up here this Saturday on NXT, and maybe El Grande Americano will be in the Americanos corner, and we'll see El Grande Americano run El Grande Americano out of the building, where El Grande Americano will confront El Grande Americano on Monday Night Raw, and then maybe you'll finally get El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano match versus match at WrestleMania, where we'll finally see El Grande Americano expose El Grande Americano for the fraud that he is. And one for a change, and I see Charles has his hand up. Charles, what you got to say real quick?
So I'm just gonna say this bluntly: that match versus match is probably not gonna happen at WrestleMania. They're gonna do that in AAA. It makes more logical sense that's in AAA because when you got that crowd alone, plus the historical thing in Mexico and everything else, they're gonna do it in AAA.
But what does Grande Americano have to do with AAA lore?
It doesn't matter because he's a Americano. The current Americano.
Yeah.
Well,
ahead,
the current AAA.
No.
It's match versus mask in general is still when it comes to that. Not the company itself, Nick. It's more the tradition of match versus match in general in Lucha Libre.
That is accurate.
That's why I expect it to be a AAA.
There's that, and there's the fact that the entire gimmick stemmed from Chad Gable encountering a dodgy guy in an alley, giving him a bag with a luchador mask. So the entire gimmick stemmed from the lucha culture.
Yeah.
You know, the entire way that the El Grande Americano gimmick got over, because it was moderately getting over here in the States, and then he went to Mexico and was received like El Santo.
Which is just gangbusters in this culture to think that is actually a thing. And besides that, here's the WrestleMania as JJ speaks. Continue, JJ.
And then when the performer change happened, somehow, some way, the gimmick just astronomically like multiplied.
Very good.
In how over it got. Because of the fact that Kaiser speaks all these different languages fluently.
Yes, he does.
So while the character of El Grande Americano doesn't have lore per se in AAA like Rey Mysterio, Penta, Conan, Psychosis, or any of the older Blue Demon, El Santo type of characters, the fact that the gimmick itself is supposed to be this world-renowned luchador is why it works better in AAA. Do you remember, and I know you're younger than me, but do you remember when Jericho's Fozzy first began and their first album came out? Okay. There was this lore about Fozzy that all the songs on their debut album, which were cover songs, were actually their songs that had been stolen by other bands because other bands heard them in Japan and overseas and abroad and stole their material. They had assumed gimmicks. Jericho was Mongoose McQueen, to try and differentiate from Chris Irvin the man, Chris Jericho the wrestler, and this rock star persona, kind of like Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines. So the El Grande Americano thing is similar in a way to that, in that here's this luchador who is so seeped in the culture, but we've never heard of him until now.
But
and now that there's two of them, the best place to do a mask versus mask match, while WrestleMania on the surface sounds like the place, it's better suited in AAA, where title versus hair, hair versus mask, mask versus mask, hair versus hair. All these things are more infamous and seeped in the culture.
And there you go. That is your Mexican Lucha Libre Lesson 101. Curse of Regular Wrestling, JJ Williams. Please follow him today, Castlevania Studios, or go down to Tijuana, Mexico to further learn about the culture. Thank you. The bottom line, folks, a Grande Americano versus Grande Americano will likely happen within the coming weeks, but it will not be at WrestleMania for many of those various reasons. And I also do believe, as much as I hate to say it, that match has more invested interest than this versus the Vanity product. But nonetheless, it might be a catalyst because you might get both of Grande Americanos in NXT for one night only. Stay tuned to see who stands and deliver in English and Espanol. All right, great job, everybody. Let's go ahead and move on from there. By the way, welcome back, Chris Jericho, to AEW. Welcome home. Let's go ahead.
Did you think we would go almost 30 minutes on a match that you didn't give a fuck about?
Well, unfortunately,
got you there.
Unfortunately, 18 minutes went to a Grande Americano, and that was more justifiably so because there's more lore to that in investment. But speaking of lore, investment, how much does the glamour invest in this Goth's nature, and how much is this Goth willing to be part of this woman from hell's dream to be a nightmare? Let's go ahead and talk about the women of NXT, shall we? Because they are doing far more than the main roster, even at the WrestleMania level. It is the NXT Women's North American Championship as Sam Paxley defends the gold against Blake Monroe. After Blake Monroe rise out of hell after Izzy Dane was sustained inside a steel cage by Tatum Paxley in a rematch where pretty much their rivalry is finally done, the glamour has taken possession of Tatum Paxley's NXT Women's North American Championship. As we saw this past Tuesday, on a little bit of a face-to-face, the two came face-to-face for this title, as Blake talks about how this championship needs a real woman behind it, and Tatum Paxley and Kura talked about lore and hell. I know what the woman from hell can be, but you don't know what I become when I am truly messed with the wrong way. Is he damn that the hard way? So can Tatum Paxley overcome the glamour if the woman from hell looks to stand and deliver for the NXT Women's North American Championship? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. This time we will start with Charles Schultz. So Charles, do you believe there will be a brand new NXT Women's North American Champion? Keep in mind, folks, she's only held this title literally since Vengeance Day. But the glamour, Blake Monroe, is a former NXT Women's North American Champion. And we all know what can happen with this psychological warfare if the woman from hell rises out of this weekend, despite this being a weekend of a positive resurrection. Jesus, talk about a counter oxymoron there. Charles, what do you got to say regarding this match? Go ahead.
Well, I expect Tatum to retain. Because I honestly expect Blade to go out for the women's title at this point. So I'm going to say on that.
All right. Well, everyone knows what it means to be isolated, alone, taken advantage of, I'm sure, at some point in their lives, or feel worthless. And of course, that has been the Tatum Paxley story, where she finally realizes she is worth something to herself because other people believe in her as much as she needs to believe in herself. And we saw how that story culminated at Vengeance Day. But this isn't vengeance. This is more about reclaiming what's hers because, believe it or not, folks, Blake Monroe is still in possession of the NXT Women's North American Championship. While possession is 9/10 of the law, it is not 100% unanimous in claiming that you are the ownership of said possession. This Saturday, though, there might be no ifs, and buts, or asterisks about it. Okay, Nick, let's go to you next. What do you think about the Glamour becoming a two-time NXT Women's North American Champion, or does Tatum Paxley play with her in hell and claim the title back this Saturday in their first ever one-on-one encounter?
I will answer that question with a question. After the, let's call it what it is. You can call it a botch or whatever. The result of Mariah, I'm calling her Mariah May, sorry.
That's
and fine. Thea Hale, did she ever get her title back? No, right?
No.
I think Mariah May is winning this match. I think we see a new champion. Because I really don't think that she was ever supposed to lose it in the first place. I think they've kind of just rolled with, that whole situation, and they've parlayed it into different things. But I think, Mariah May's first women's North American title reign wasn't all that what it was cracked up to be. And I think they probably want to have a do-over on it. And I think, it's not to say anything's wrong with Tatum. I just think Tatum's best work was with Chemical X. When it was her, Gigi, and Shotzi. I think that's kind of where she did her best work, and the fact that that they're not there anymore, I don't see her really being a big time player in that division. So yeah, I'm going with Blake to win.
All right, fair enough. And of course, if she wins, she will become a two-time NXT Women's North American Champion. Of course, the history of the NXT Women's North American Championship this last calendar year alone, how ironic, by the way, where we saw a new champion crown, of course, here at Stand Deliver last year, and that will go into some long-term storytelling with one of the other prolific women's matches here, where one of them could literally wipe out, and this could be their last stand, it seems, to stand out or literally be stand aside forevermore. That being said, all right, Nick, I like that outlook, and I like the fact there's partisan here, but I am going to say this. The Glamour, Blake Monroe, has definitely made her own path here in NXT, whether glamorous or sinister, you tell me. More one than the other. Personally, I like the darker side of the glamour, but that's always just been me as a masochist. Nonetheless, I think Tatum Paxley deserves a chance to run with this title after overcoming her own demons, pushed on by Izzy Dame, who was a subplot in the NXT Women's North American Championship development this last calendar year alone. You think it went from Ruca to Injure, Blake Monroe to Thea Hill, asterisk, to Izzy Dame to Tatum Paxley, and now we have Tatum Paxley, where the Glamour. Blake Monroe is looking to get it back. And it does feel like, to me, when it comes to Tatum Paxley, they do find a way to use psychological warfare to push her more into a story. And the Glamour, who's already trying to claim possession of this with beauty and spiteful nature, it seems. This could definitely lead to a very unique feud for the time being with these two. I do think that the Glamour deserves a chance to go out to the NXT Women's Championship, but I just don't think they want to push her there. And after what I seen this past Tuesday, there's definitely someone far more deserving, I think, of holding that title right now in NXT. And I'll talk more about that later. But that being said, I got Tam Paxley retaining. Let's go to JJ to finish this thing out while it's 2-1. JJ, what do you think of Tatum Paxley versus Oklahoma? Blake Monroe, do you think that Blake gets the title back and officially claims it as hers? Or does Tam Paxley make Blake pay for her bullying, playful nature against what Tatum Paxley values most right now? What do you think happens here?
I think if they were going to give the title back to Blake, they would have done it instead of giving the title to Izzy. You know, let's not forget that the night that Izzy won it, Blake and Thea were supposed to have the rematch. Blake attacked Thea pre-match.
Ding, ding.
Got ejected from the building, lost her title opportunity, and that's how we ended up with Izzy in the first place.
Yep.
I think if we were going to get the belt back to Blake, because Blake was never supposed to lose it, she would have beat Thea that night. I think there's bigger things for Blake in the future, whether it's the NXT Women's title or a main roster debut. I think Tatum keeps it. I definitely think we've found Tatum's ceiling, but that's not a bad ceiling to be on.
No. And again, she won the NXT Women's Championship last year at Halloween Havoc. Trick or treat, you tell me. So she had her moment with it. But then we saw what it led to.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that being said, it is 3-1. Again, I think we got a developing formula here. But I'm okay with it. It keeps the conversation dynamic. That's why the predicting is far more than just your regular prediction show on any form you watch, including no DQ, no disrespect. But there's a reason why I prefer moderating versus just participating, even if they try and force me to go first sometimes, depending on you like this person, blah, 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 blah. Speaking of liking somebody and considering somebody knew how to take over every chance he got from one to the other, let's talk about the men's NXT North American Championship. As Myles Borne, who of course won this title, as we all saw very recently against all Eagle Ethan Page, he defends the gold against not anybody from this NXT, but one of the most prolific performers in NXT history when it actually did take over and stood and deliver and stand it out on its own. Not to mention a former multiple-time NXT North American champion, Johnny Planking. Johnny Gargano. You heard me right. Johnny Wrestling. Well, the jury is out whether or not I got Johnny Wrestling or Johnny Depression. Nonetheless, this is not Photoshop, folks. This is the actual match. Johnny Gargano, of course, came back to NXT courtesy of Kenneth LeRae's willing on. And I do mean literally willing on. Just literally not this past Tuesday, but literally last week, Tuesday, where it was a gauntlet match. At the end of the day, he was the last entrant, courtesy of Kenneth LeRae. Didn't even come out to his original NXT music. Boo. Nonetheless, he literally spent most of the match. If I could lay down on screen for y'all right now, I would. That's literally what it was, on the apron. It wasn't until the Burford attacked that Shadow Hill guy, and he was the last one left, that Johnny Gargano was picked up by his wife. He fell out of the corner of the turnbuckles and fell flat into the cover to get the win and become the new #1 contender. Since then, he and Myles Borne have had one face-to-face. No further words have been shared, but this will be Myles Borne, I believe, first NXT, well, technically second. He did defend against Ethan Page, despite the fact Page was dressed as a suit like me and did not was ready to compete. But nonetheless, this might be the catalyst to finding once again what Johnny Gargano truly is, and that is Johnny Wrestling. Or again, is this just one of those fans where it's like, we got to boost this somehow? Regardless, it's Myles Borne versus Johnny Gargano for the first time ever. Two men that are prolific NXT across generations. The black and gold versus the black and chrome. But is this Johnny Gargano? Is this Johnny Wrestling? Is this Johnny Takeover? Or is this Johnny Depression mid-main roster utility player who hasn't done nothing but sulk since another guy, Shadow, told his story, and he's already in a much happier light at All Elite Wrestling. Go check out his closer, by the way, with Nate Paquette. Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this. And fuck it, I'll start off. Yeah, I don't think Myles Borne's losing here. With all due respect to Johnny Gargano, I have not seen Johnny wrestling since insert A here. Last time he thought was going to be Johnny wrestling, well, the family squashed him in less than 2 minutes. And I think we all know who's taking over WWE right now when I put those two names in the same sentence. Regardless, I think this could be a great moment to further the stock of this championship, but also further the stock of Myles Borne, who's really tried to break out on his own since leaving the no quarter catch crew. And I think Myles Borne deserves a chance at this. If Myles Borne was able to work as hard as he did to figure out what he needed to do to beat Oliver Page, who was, let's call it what it is, the most prolific NXT North American champion since the days of the Black and Gold, damn it, then Myles Borne getting a marquee win over a man that literally was a freaking standard bearer for these letters and this title in the bygone era is huge stock for him. So I do have Myles Borne retaining. Let's go around the horn and see what you all think. We're going to go counterclockwise this time. We'll start with Nick. Nick, what do you think about this? Johnny Blank versus Myles Borne for the NXT North American Championship. What do you got to say, and who do you got winning?
Okay, so I'll try to be quick. Myles Borne looks like a younger version of Randy. Like his look.
You're probably not the first one to say that, though, to be fair.
He's not.
I do agree about that, JJ. Continue.
I understand and I see, I get the storyline of Johnny and him being down and upset because his tag team partner left. I get the story. I think it's fucking dumb because Johnny Gargano is a way better wrestler than this. And should be treated as such. So the fact that we're doing this moping, sad Baron Corbin gimmick with Johnny Gargano, I don't like it because he's better than that. We know that he can be better than that. I mean, fuck it. I got Johnny winning.
I'm so glad you're sticking to your stick. I'm proud of you. Good luck, bro. I expect your score to be 0 by the end of this if you do choose to do the form. Welcome to the NXT League if you decide to join.
Who knows? Like, Johnny could win this title and then he can suddenly be happy Johnny. It can kind of turn his character into a different way.
The way. I see what
the
you
way. I see what I did. Yeah, I mean, I have Johnny winning.
All right, fair enough. I admire the optimism. That means it's 1-1. All right, let's go to Charles next here. Charles, Johnny Blank has not really had a moment of fame with the letters NXT in the same name. Since Shawn Michaels brought him down, he beat Grayson Waller, that Aussie wannabe, of course, wanting to be his own Big G. But we all know the story behind that. Shout out to the Big Baller and Mrs. G as well. Hope they're doing well. And honestly, that was the last time he stood and deliver. Ironically enough. Or was it No Mercy? I can't remember. Either way, he did stand deliver with NXT in the name. But could this be the thing that gets him out of his funk in loss or defeat? That might be the more prolific, hopeful story here, it seems. But do you have a new NXT North American champion? Or does Myles Borne retain?
I don't know what to think, honestly. The fact that I was not prepared for Johnny Gargano to show back up in NXT, it's hilarious. No, and also he literally did a whole ass Twitch stream which is just laying down, just like first.
What?
Yes, that's legit happened.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Johnny's dedicated.
Wait, so he did a Twitch stream and people paid? No.
Literally, the first thing they saw was him just what he's been doing on TV for the entire thing.
How long do you plank to the point your body shuts down? You're not sleeping, though. I mean,
he's laying place down. He's literally doing that thing, laying down the whole time.
Oh my god.
We can say what we want about the thing, but give Johnny credit. He's dedicated to it. He's dedicated. He's making it entertaining for no reason.
You're getting paid at the end of the day, so mad respect. Continue. What the fuck?
The more you know, folks, and no surprise today.
God.
But literally, I expect to see Johnny wrestling out of this. I do. As far as who wins, Oof. I usually never bet against Johnny Gargano when it comes to North American title matches before. I've always won every single time.
Nah.
But I want to be wrong for once. I'm going with Myles more than retain. Because I see Myles just got a title. I see him holding for a bit longer and see who the. Because it might tie into what they might do for the after the when I was in the main event. I'll get more on that later.
Well, I'm sure we
Hint,
all will.
hint.
Like I said, the reason I saved the last 3 matches like I did. All right, so that being said, we got a retainment. So 2-1. Well, JJ, to that point, Johnny Wrestling, Johnny Gargano, former Johnny NXT and former Johnny Takeover. He is a former, and the word of the day for this match is former. He is a former 3-time NXT North American champion. The last time he, of course, held it was about 163 days. He, of course, beat Damian Priest and Leon Ruff in a triple threat at NXT TakeOver War Games Pandemic 2020 and lost it to the colossal Bronson Reed inside a steel cage. It was also, of course, during this time that Johnny Gargano, he did it the Gargano way. And honestly, I might take the Gargano way to actually beat Myles Borne here, whether he sees clearly or whether or not he hears him soundly. Nonetheless, 2 retainments, 1 change. What do you think about this? You got Myles Borne retaining.
I will say this much. Anyone can see the road that they walk on is paved in gold. And it's always summer. They'll never get cold. They'll never get hungry. They'll never get old and gray. But where were they going without ever knowing the way? Charles gets it.
Damn straight I do.
When did this become a poetry slam? Anyway, continue.
So I thought that Sad Corbin was half of the tag team champions in MLW now. Why are we getting that rehash?
I'm about to say Bishop Dyer to your point, and you would be correct with the skyscrapers with another man that never got this title but should have. Damn it! Especially after his match with Keith Lee at NXT TakeOver Portland, where I thought it was going to be his crowning moment. Damn it! Of course, the former Dominic Dijakovic. Continue. My NXT.
But yeah, I've got Myles here. They're going to push Myles to the moon, especially considering who his woman is over on the main roster. Myles for the dub.
All right.
We don't need Johnny Wrestling and his washed-up, purple-haired twat waffle of a wife.
Will you stop that?
Showing
there it is.
My NXT.
I knew it. I knew as soon as I mentioned Johnny Gargano, he was going to find a way to mention Candice LeRae with all the dismay. Figure.
Look, y'all mentioned her multiple times before I even got on the microphone.
I didn't once.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm allowed 1 mention, and I didn't even say her name, so we don't have to have her appear.
Well, it doesn't work like that with her, but nonetheless, I do
God.
understand what you mean.
Thank
All right.
God it does.
That worked.
All right. Calm down, bro. That being said, it is
I'm tranquilo. I'm good.
There's 3-1 again. The trend continues. Okay, well, now that we got the undercard out of the way, let's get into the actual serious half of this show, shall we? And I think, like we talked about earlier, we will start with the match where truly we will see one stand and deliver. And whether or not you think this is a Maury storyline where I'm the victim, blah, 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 blah. It's a Mario Jannetty, Shawn Michaels trope as old as time itself. But ironically enough, the stage where it began could be, and in my opinion should be, the stage it will end. As Zaria goes one-on-one with Ruca. To think, this time last year, these two were the last two to stand on top of a ladder over the NXT Women's North American Championship. And it was at that point they understood what things meant at that moment and what mattered the most. And of course, we all saw Ruca rise to the occasion and win the title. We saw the friendship develop and the relationship here, where we've seen these two go on SmackDown and Evolution together, going after the now christened WWE Women's Tag Team Championships 8.0 Carnation. But things really took a turn, especially when Ruca got more moments and Zaria started to get envy and jealous, thinking that all Zaria was Ruca's partner, despite the fact Ruca lobbied for her every chance she could, whether it was going after the TNA Knockouts World Championship or whether it was defending her Women's NXT North American Championship on her behest while she was injured. Tensions finally hit a breaking point more than anything else as we saw Zaria snap and cost Ruca against Jayne for the NXT Women's Championship in less than 2 minutes. Following week, Zaria had a more prolific match against Jayne, and Ruca snatched her soul. Since then, these two have been at each other's throats, quite literally. We even saw these two involved in a triple threat match against Jayne for the NXT Women's Championship, and both these two women cost each other where Jayne was able to escape. I pray to God the same thing doesn't happen here. Nonetheless, these two are finally going to go one-on-one, where at the end of the day, Zaria says that Ruca is not the villain in her story. She is the mistake that she is going to fix. Well, at the end of the day, all Ruca wanted to do was achieve and succeed together. But it looks like now only one of them will truly stand and deliver. So who stands tall in what feels like a swan song for one, if not the other, in loss or defeat? Does someone wipe out? Does someone get their soul snatched? Or does Zaria finally arrive in NXT and stands and deliver, wiping Ruca from her existence on the NXT roster? Let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this prolific, and might I say prolific, 1 year practically to the day, first time ever one-on-one encounter, probably their last stand in the making for the time being. Let's see what you all think about this. And we will start this time again with JJ, who is always an apropos freaking advocate for long-term storytelling. Well, it doesn't get more prolific than going year by year for NXT's biggest show of the year, I would say, mister. So that being said, you know these two. You know who Ruca is. You still are trying to figure out who the hell Zaria is. And I've been wondering where the fuck Delta's been since she faced Lei Ling Ying for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. The last time that I remember that Zaria actually mattered. And again, Ruca, it has been her year, period. Despite the fact she was the cinnamon mascot of WrestleMania 39. Yes, folks, that's a thing. So, JJ, what do you think here? Stand deliver. Is it Zaria's last stand to finally stand out in NXT? Or is Ruca going to snatch another soul 2 years in a row? What do you think happens here?
I was really hoping you were going to go someone else first.
Not with long-term storytelling, bro. Not with this.
And it may be a hot take, but I got Zaria here.
That's why I wanted him to go first. Continue.
I got Zaria here for one very important reason. And we kind of talked a little bit about this. I forget if it was during the meeting that we had this past Tuesday or if it was actually on Shenanigans. But Ruca is the only active NXT talent that is booked for WWE World in Vegas. That leads me to believe that she will probably debut on the Raw after Mania. Because they wouldn't debut her on the SmackDown prior to Mania. That would be stupid. There's no real spot on Mania for a mystery female performer to debut. So that just leaves for the Raw after Mania. And why would there only be one active NXT talent at the World unless she was going to get the call? And the time-honored tradition in wrestling is you don't leave with your arm in the air, you leave on your back. So I think that Zaria gets the dub here. And Soul surfs off into the sunset underneath that full moon on a monster wave to Raw.
All
And
right.
I think that maybe whoever wins the IC title match between AJ and Becky will hold an open challenge on Raw, and that's where Soul will debut.
I like that take. Considering that Saruka has beaten Bailey last year at Saturday's main event, was part of the final three at the Royal Rumble, and has more politically been surfing a wave of momentum across all three brands and into the WWE Universe's hearts and their peaceful mindsets, to say the least. And again, she's quite a standout. I'm very impressed with the former all-around gymnastic and two-minute athlete. She really has been a standout in this generation of NXT. And honestly, if she wasn't going to claim the NXT Women's Championship, this does seem like a poetic way to leave this brand. I've seen it so many times in the past, whether it was Ember Moon or Billy herself. So I do understand what you mean. So that being said, JJ has set the ballot to Zaria, finally putting Soruka behind her once for all and stand and delivering on her own going forward. Then
Let me
again,
just add, I'm a little bit sad that she did sell out as well for her appearance at the World, because I wanted to buy a ticket for the day she was going to be there and a ticket for her meet and greet line, if for nothing else but to be able to present her for the 2 Simply Reliable Studio Awards that she took. Female Breakthrough Performer of the Year and Finisher of the Year.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that being said, he has Zaria winning. Okay. Thank you for that. Nick, what do you think about this match? It does seem like we all have an idea of what we want to see for Soruka, and Zaria, again, she has done jack diddly in NXT. I haven't seen Zaria this driven, focused, and determined, I think, in her entire NXT career. So do you think that Zaria stands and delivers and removes herself from the past that was Saruka once for all, in her own mind, removing the mistake from her story versus what she believes that she may be, and that is the villain, according to Zaria's mind, which is really fueled off jealousy and envy? What do you think happens here?
I think I agree with JJ in the fact that Zaria wins. I can see Sol Ruca getting a call up. But I can also, like, I don't know, it's weird because I can also see, like, Sol Ruca hasn't held the NXT Women's Championship.
Nope.
So I mean, like, could she be an opponent for, like, I can see both situations because I can see Zaria winning and going after the North American Championship if Tatum retains, but then I can also see Sol Ruca winning and going after Jayne for the World Championship. I got Zaria. I got Sol Ruca winning.
Damn, I haven't seen this conflicted in a match in a long time that wasn't for AEW. So that speaks volumes of Sol Ruca and Zaria here. So nonetheless, you got Zaria winning as well.
No, I got Sol. winning.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
I got Sol winning.
Well, we'll see if you continue your streak of being the only one to stand down your predictions so far. Because right now, it's 1-1. Charles, what do you think about this? Do you think that Soruka was never meant to get the NXT Women's Championship? Considering this year alone, she has had technically 2 chances. And we all know she has that main roster appeal. Obafemi was on that same stage at Saturday night's main event, and now he's in a marquee match at WrestleMania, and he's the biggest thing since prior to Beast Incarnate. So can Soruka ride a similar wave into the main roster without even being on the WrestleMania card, maybe given this stage to Zaria? Or do you think that Soruka still wants to do more here in NXT, offers more to do in NXT until she wins and holds on to the NXT Women's Championship? What do you think?
I love how, well, first, I'm just going to say bluntly, JJ was in my mind again. And
what else is new?
I was literally going with Zaria because of the same reasons as JJ mentioned. Literally, word for word. Just creepy. But yeah, Zaria's winning this. So Ruca's going to Raw. Simple as that.
Okay.
The JJ pretty much went on the same speech I was going to go on.
And I swear you two share one brain, and it's ridiculous. All right, so we got a Zaria, a Ruca. I'm going with Zaria too. At the end of the day, if this superstar who was inspired by Rhea Ripley to pursue this dream that could be a nightmare without her own brutality involved, in my opinion, she has to figure out her own identity. Rhea Ripley did the same damn thing. Truth be told, it took the Mae Young Classic and a whole different brand that was more prolific to wrestling, NXT UK, but nonetheless, like I said, she's the female superstar right now across the entire WWE ecosystem. But nonetheless, if Zaria wants to reach similar heights and she has the wrestling acumen, the build, and a violent looking dynamic where I think she could do that, we've kind of seen more of her personality as of late, it seems, as well, then she has to win here. This is a statement stage where you either sink or swim. If Zaria doesn't win this, she might as well be forever known simply as Ruca's associate. It's do or die for Zaria, in my opinion. There's no other way I could look at it. I don't need to see the Smosh disqualification finish. You're not going to get a bigger chance to make a statement in NXT than Stand Deliver, whether for free or pay on demand on a pay-per-view service. And this is Zaria's first big chance at this point in the biggest story of her young WWE career against someone that truly has come to know her better than anybody. So if anyone's going to push Zaria forward, then Ruca is the right person to do that. And how you do that? You somehow beat her at Stand and Deliver, and you send her on her way. So I got Zaria winning as well. So once again, Nick keeps the trend going. It is still 3-1 in every match. But Zaria for the win, and Ruca, all the best to the main roster. WWE, don't fuck it up. All right. With that being said, talking about the women of NXT, and again, talking about the cause and effect of the women's championships. We talked about the actual mid women's championship. Let's talk about the championship. Robert Stone, you're a lazy fuck. That being said, it is Jayne defending the NXT Women's Championship against Lola Vice. Sorry, Walter. Yeah, don't get to talk about her. And in my opinion, I'm just going to say this right now. WWE has, in my freaking opinion, the greatest potential to hone in on the best female wrestler I have seen in a long effing time come out of this fucking nation if they don't fuck this up. Kendal Gray. Kendal Gray and Lola Vice had an incredible match this past Tuesday. Yes, I watched it in full. The only match that mattered. Thank you again, W Matches, for allowing me to watch without the CW app. Again, fuck television. Kendal Gray and Lola Vice had a barn burner of an incredible physical, technical encounter, but it ended in a screwy schmoz as one referee kept Fatal Influence at bay, and the other referee inside the ring saw Lola Vice trap Kendal Gray in a submission. Again, folks, Lola Vice is a former MMA competitor, so the fact that she was able to gel so well with this collegiate amateur wrestler that was 60-0 in her young amateur wrestling career, God damn, this might have been the best WWE Women's match I've seen all this year. Learn stuff from main roster. That being said, it ended with shoulders down and a tap out at the same time. All the bickering from the referee in and out of the ring. As the referee inside the ring counted the shoulders on the mat, the referee outside the ring freaking saw the tap out. And yes, the replay did show Kendal Gray tapped before the 3 count. But again, horseshoes, hand grenades, asterisks, the referee's decision is final, but 2 referees, whatever. But nonetheless, these two now, courtesy of Robert Stone and Shawn Michaels, have now been put into not elimination, although that would be too much fucking sense, a standard triple threat. You all know how I feel about this, but for fall person. Again, Jayne, prolific 2-time NXT Women's North American Women's Champion, She's held the title now for 300 days. Currently, it's in this run now at 136 days. And this will mark her 5th defense, with wins already over Lola Vice in her first run, and Kendal Gray at New Year's Evil in this run, and overcoming Ruca and Zaria in a triple threat, as we saw recently on NXT. Jayne, does this Fatal Influence finally lose influence in NXT? And do we crown a brand new NXT Women's Champion, and someone that's long overdue, and someone that could be a huge reset leader for this NXT Women's division that's still far more prolific and has a stronger work ethic than both main rosters combined? let's go around the horn and see what y'all think about this marquee match that should be elimination, but it isn't, for the NXT Women's Championship. Who stands and delivers and leads the best women's division in WWE? Charles, you are first. Charles, do you have a brand new NXT Women's Champion? Kendal Gray, Lola Vice, or does Jacy Jayne somehow retain again? And yes, I get it. Triple threat is no disqualification. Fatal influence can get involved. It would not surprise me in the slash that they do. But goddamn, we need a change here in NXT for this title. Go ahead.
One, since Walter's not here, I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm going with Lola Vice to win the title. Since Walter's not here, I'm gonna do that. And I expect Jacy Jayne to get pinned in this match. She's taking the fall. She has to.
All right.
So there you go.
All right. I appreciate that. Very good. Okay, that being said, we got one new champion. He picked Walter Mamacita, his original Mamacita. For those that follow the Rage of Wrestling, subscribe today, as long as we have here Lola Vice. And again, it was last year at Heatwave, or No Mercy, excuse me, for her family. She had her chance. Lost when Laney Reed joined Fatal Influence. So we got one title change for Lola Vice. I'm just going to say this right now. Since I saw Kendal Gray at the Iron Survivor Challenge last year, freaking win in a barn burner buzzer beater with the freaking Shades of Grey out of nowhere, Kendal Gray has all the potential in the world right now to be what Chad Gable should have been in the bygone life before he became a Grande Americano. Shut the fuck up. That being said, I want to see Kendal Gray absolutely succeed and take Jacy Jayne off her throne. I want to see her and Lola Vice win it back one-on-one to see who truly holds the gold, or if Lola Vice is going to be adios for the NXT Women's roster as well. You talk about people stand delivering maybe for the final time. Lola Vice, I'm pretty sure it's been in NXT as long as Ruca. So you might get more than one, I'm just saying. And she's been more prolific at AAA. Let's forget, she's the current AAA Mixed Tag Team Champion. But I'm actually going with Kendal Gray. I think there's a reason why John Cena picked her for the future for a reason. There's also a reason why she vacated the Evolve Women's Championship. She is far way too good above and beyond both of those, and she hasn't even been in the WWE ecosystem for a full damn fucking year yet. I'm all in on Kendal Gray taking NXT to the gray zone. I got Kendal Gray winning because the last time I didn't pick her, it fucked me. Kendal Gray for the win. And I know now we're going to break the statistics here because it's not going to be 3-1. It might be 1-2-1, 2-1-1, or 1-1-2. So let's find out. Honestly, it could be, it has to be one of those things because there's 4 people here. Nick, your thoughts on the NXT Women's Championship. Does Jacy Jayne somehow find a way to retain once again, where she became not a second wheel, she became the face of NXT after beating Stephanie Valkyrie in a WTF moment? So, nonetheless, she has been the face of NXT basically for the last calendar year. And I'll give credit credit's due. She's done a pretty damn good job, I have to say. And bringing up Hendry and freaking Laney Reed, who is also a newer face in the scene, it seems like all women have benefited to a degree. But what do you think, Nick? Is this Jacy Jayne's last chance to be the fatal influence for NXT's women's division to get a kick in the ass? Do you have a new champion? Do you have Jacy Jayne still holding on to the gold?
I got Jacy Jayne retaining.
Damn it. Continue.
Yeah, I think the moment, I think Kendall's moment's not yet. And I feel like Lola, they've been really using her in AAA more. So yeah, I think Kendal Gray will win it eventually. I just don't think it's now.
All right. I'm just saying though, man, there's a reason it's triple threat, because clearly they don't want to see a one-on-one against Jacy Jayne where Jacy Jayne loses the gold, in my opinion. But for Fall Person, if there's ever a chance to reset the NXT landscape with the women's title, it might as well be this, even though it's not elimination. Truth be told, JJ, the title did not change hands at Stand Deliver last year, as we saw in Fatal 4-Way action, but it did change very shortly after in what was WWE WTF moment of the year last year before Brock Lesnar showed up at SummerSlam became that. So what do you think here? It's the cornerstone of WWE, the NXT Women's Division, and Jacy Jayne has been the face of it now for almost a calendar year. But Kendal Gray has risen above and beyond expectations to the occasion. And Lola Vice, she has had, again, one of the longest tenures in this NXT's revamped history. So do you have a brand new NXT Women's Champion? Do you see Jacy Jayne retaining and stand delivered? Do you think she deserves to do so?
First things first. I have seen El Grande Americano and Chad Gable in the same place at the same time.
Stop it!
You stop desecrating Chad Gable's name. When both men have been in the same place at the same time, Chad Gable cannot be El Grande Americano. So until you can prove to me that he is, know your role and shut your mouth.
You know what, JJ? You're gonna start something you can't finish.
Second of all, Damian Priest is a lucky son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Because him and Lola Vice are a thing.
Oh, well, good for them.
So he gets a piece of that consistently. Bravo, good sir.
Yeah.
Last but not least, I am sad that Kendal Gray forfeited that Evolve title and got the official call up when she did, because otherwise I probably would be seeing her defend the title on the ID showcase. Just like I'm going to see the men's and women's WWE ID champion and the men's Evolve champion on the ID showcase in Vegas. If she still had that title, I'd probably be seeing her too. Damn it. And I can echo the sentiments for the Vanity Project. Had they not gotten the call when they did, because of the voids left by Javon Evans and Obafemi and others, I'd probably be seeing them too. Damn it. That said, Stand and Deliver may be happening in 2 days on a Saturday. Tomorrow for you East Coasters, as it's already Friday.
Correct.
But come April 8th will be one of the best Wednesdays of all time, as both your current reigning and defending speed champion, Ren Sinclair, will be joined by the new NXT Women's Champion, Kendal Gray.
Yeah! He agrees with me for once. I can't fucking believe it. Again, WWE, you got the best wrestler you built in a long fucking time that I can remember for the women. Don't fuck this up. She has all the potential right now to be one of the best women I've seen ever friggin' wrestle. She's amazing.
Kendal Gray, if they don't fuck her up, has the potential to be the female Kurt Angle.
Thank you. Accurate. All right. That being said, we're all
and think about the rookie year that Kurt Angle had. You know, from when he debuted at Survivor Series 99 against Sean Stasiak, meat back then, to becoming European champion, Intercontinental champion, Eurocontinental champion, and WWE champion in his rookie year. Kendal Gray has already been the Evolve champion.
150 days.
And before her rookie year in the company is over, could become NXT Women's Champion.
Phenomenal. And she's only 24 years old.
Yeah. Whereas Kurt was already in his late 20s, pushing his 30s when he debuted.
And she's been amateur wrestling since she was 13. Against men, even. All right. Well, that being said, 2 Kendals, 1 Lola, and Dick. I forgot what Nick said. Nick said Jacy retained somehow. Bleh. And again, she's already beaten.
I knew you were gonna pop. I knew you were gonna pop at the fact that we agreed. so I had to give you some shit beforehand.
Fair enough. The yin and the yang. She's already got wins over Last Legend, Kylie Armstrong, Lainey Reed, Wendy Chu, Carmen Petrovic, just to name a few prolific names in her young career, to your point. And her and Gwen St. Clair have a very good chemistry going on. It's literally one of the only things I watch courtesy of the Sonya type YouTube channel, I forget the name of. The Wednesdays I find very entertaining. The two are very engaging. Gurga put away some cake too. Good grief. That one segment with her and I'm not saying his name, and Myles Borne eating that freaking cake from the fridge. Talk about carbo loading. Girl loves cake and pizza. Shoot, this is a wrestler after my own heart right now. She's got good food taste and she's an incredible competitor. Again, this is literally this generation's only I've seen one of a kind female Kurt Angle. Value her for her wrestling acumen and don't fuck this up. In a dream scenario, I wanted to hear her go up against Natty.
Yeah, as much as I love Chaotic Coffee Adventures by my girl and the former North American champion, Thea Hale, I look forward to the Wednesday reels almost as much, if not more.
There you go. All right. Well, that being said, we're all aboard the Gray train. Kendal Gray for the new face of NXT. Charles, I did see your hand. What you got to say real quick before we do a little bit of an intermission ahead of our main event?
One, and also, Jerry, you forgot to mention Kurt also won King of the Ring too in 2000.
Yeah, that's true.
And also, you mean Joe Hendry in that segment?
You fucker!
I'm not going to do the gimmick because we're going to talk about him in the main event. That's why I was
exactly.
As soon as I say his name, Mr. Producer 2.0 is going to freaking push the damn button. Nonetheless, Kendal, Lola, Jacy. Bottom line, Kendal Gray, time for you to shine as the face of NXT, in my opinion. She is above and beyond expectations right now to literally redefine women's wrestling in WWE. And boy, did that need a kick in the ass in a long damn time again. There's really behind a prolific athletes. Kendal Gray for the win. All right. Well, we've had a lot of great fun talk and tomfoolery. But before we get to things, as you all know, April not only marks a resurrection, it also marks the hyper excitement in what is the most prolific time of the year for anybody, fan, worker, spectator, observer of the professional wrestling business. And that, of course, is WrestleMania week. So before we get to our main event, check out what the Simple Live Studios is going to bring you live during that entire time too. Roll the clip. You dickhead.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And truly here at the Simple Live Studios with the most prolific, craziest, quantity, quality time of the professional wrestling calendar year. We truly love, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, react, and watch along to all of the wrestling. And so much more to come forward. And as you saw, folks, yes, the Simple Live Studios will be working nonstop all 7 days through that week, giving you as much wrestling coverage as possible. As JJ and Walter take many of the sites on live, me James, Jeff, and others will be here bringing you coverage in and out of the Super Reliable Studios. Stay tuned to the Superman's Brand WrestleMania week-long agenda at the end of this stream. I might die. It was nice knowing you all. My voice also as well. But that being said, again, as we get ready for that, yeah, I see your hand. What you got to say real quick?
I just want to say real quick on the topic of the trailer and everything. I did discover that Triller has an option for $60. You get all those shows that are going to be at the Palms.
Holy shit.
So the Maple Leaf Pro, Stardom, like all those shows are going to be in a big bundle for like $60.
There you go, folks.
CMLL.
Yes, the oldest promotion in the world, by the way. For those that don't know, 92 years that promotion
I could have
has
sworn
existed.
that the National Wrestling Alliance was the oldest, but I don't dispute you. You're definitely more knowledgeable than I am.
Well, I try, but hey, you know, it never hurts to be fact checked. But to my knowledge, I believe it is actually, because I think NWA come shortly after. Well, anyway, that's a whole different conversation for another day. That being said, folks, again, stay tuned for everything coming up here, WrestleMania week, exclusively courtesy of the Superman's Brand conjunction with the Super Lava Studios. Follow today at SR Studios 2024 for further coverage, updates, etc. But that being said, as we look to stand deliver that entire week-long festivity, and we want Kendal Gray to stand tall as NXT Women's Champion, let's go ahead and get right into now our main event for the NXT Championship. As we have not one, not two, not three, but look at this full hand. Fatal four-way action. It will be Tony D'Angelo, the original NXT build here, Soprano. Absolute Ricky Saints, Eagle. All Eagle, Ethan Page. And yep, you see him right there. That's 250 pounds of pure motivation. The answer to all life's questions. He is the face of JJ's NXT. He was the viral sensation last year that took the TNA World Championship to the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. Some believe that they should have him take this title into WrestleMania again. Whether or not that happens, it really depends on your predictions. It depends on WWE believing it's that important. But we all know this man, and his name, of course, is Joe Hendry. And of course, we're going to
man, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry defending the NXT Championship. All right, so here we fucking go. Joe Hendry, of course, who won this title in a 7-man ladder match, of course, at the beginning of the year. And Ricky Saints, looking down from above in disgust, has already messed with this man when it comes to the value of him towards this title, saying he is nothing more but a walking meme. He is a walking marketing case. Almost sounds like Drew McIntyre and Cody Rhodes in the bygone life. We've even seen Ricky Saints and Joe Hendry go one-on-one for the NXT Championship. Ironically enough, that was the main event at Vengeance Day, where it looked like Ricky Saints formed some sort of alliance with Ethan Page to try and gain the title back, offering him a shot, but also reminding Ethan Page how good he is in becoming the greatest NXT North American champion for the second time. But Ethan Page also sees the potential to be the greatest two-time NXT champion of all time. That was weird. Technology, technical difficulties. I'll just keep speaking. Nonetheless, we, of course, saw Tony D'Angelo return to NXT with a vendetta, and he has fulfilled it after beating Dion Lennox and wiping out Dark State, leaving them in the dark, much like JJ's feed. And now we have this fatal four-way after some tag team cohesion with Myles, Borne, etc. Joe Hendry is prime target number one. The key thing here, though, is Joe Hendry, Ricky Saints, even Page, they all have one thing in common. They're outsiders. Tony D, he eats, sleeps, lives, and bleeds, and has been built through only NXT. Before Ava Raine was relieved of her duties, there's a reason why she wanted Tony D in the equation for the NXT Championship, because nobody probably bleeds more black and chrome in this field than freaking Tony D'Angelo. So let's go around the horn and see what you all think. And if you believe there will be a new absolute face or with ego of NXT. We're going to go around the horn here and kick things off, this time with the man that believed only one person to start with on this stream. And then we'll go last with the guy that represents this brand, even if he doesn't watch it weekly. Nick, it's your time to shine. Do you believe as much as you want me to believe in Joe Hendry holding on to the NXT Championship, or are you going to surprise us once again with a whole different type of prediction? And do you have a new champion at the end of Stand Deliver to stand for NXT going forward? The floor is yours.
The reason why I believe in Joe Hendry is because he is not an entrance merchant, and he will win the title. I rest my case, Your Honor.
All right. Well, the court now recognizes Charles Schultz, who now steps up to the podium. Do you swear to predict the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Well, that was simple, straight to the point. And I thought I would be the simple person to say something tonight.
If you know, you know.
I know I know. I've seen the intro. I know.
I think we all know to a degree, but nonetheless, that's why we're predicting NXT. Right,
I can't stop laughing. I can't stop laughing. This is great. If I'm not dying of laughter.
Yeah, you broke it. Are you going to be able to predict? What the fuck?
Nick broke at me, folks. There you go. First time for everything on this show.
Mark the time, despite everything else that has happened, it was Nick Ferrantes that instigated chaos and broke Avatar and Charles Schultz.
Yes, he did. But now, I'm going with Tony D'Angelo to win the title.
What?
Yes, I am.
Huh.
I expect Tony D'Angelo to get the title. He's been down in NXT for this long. He's won the NXT tag titles, North American title. It's only fair he gets the NXT title at some point, and it's going to be a Stand Deliver.
Then that's a fair case. I mean, it was one point at Stand Deliver. He did challenge, or was it No Mercy? They almost seem like they blur the lines. I mean, look at the freaking graphics. He did challenge the Mad Dragon, Ilya Dragunov, for the NXT championship. So I can definitely respect that take. And yes, it was Stand Deliver. It was 2 years ago. All right. Well, that being said, 2 names of the 4 so far. And now we crisscross to me. You really think I'm going to bet against the man that I believed in before he was fully signed to NXT, and they turned his gimmick kind of into a overkill meme? Gee, WWE overkilling something. Ain't that shocking? Not really. I do believe that Joe Hendry deserves to continue to be the face of NXT. I don't think they're going to put him on Raw and SmackDown yet, despite the fact they use it for entertainment during the holiday season and during John Cena's final night at Saturday Night's main event. It's only a matter of time before you got Joe Hendry and Danhausen in the same frame. But I think that Joe Hendry is definitely going to stay as the face of NXT. I got Joe Hendry winning. The key thing here, though, is, again, buffer, fall person, but it's a fair 4-way. So what we got going on here? Are we removing somebody completely from the equation, or are we going to get some sort of tag team cohesion or a sub rivalry? I saw what happened during the contract signing this past Tuesday at the Madison Square Garden Theater. The 2 that were standing tall, it was Tony D and all Ego Ethan Page. Ethan Page sent Joe Hendry through a table with the Eagle's edge, and Tony D powerbombed Ricky Saints through the other table. And then Tony D and Ethan Page brawled all the way out to New York City after security came out and cleared the ring. So regardless, keep that in mind here. And we all know how Ricky Saints has been, in the friendship of One American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Just saying, that might be an absolute call-up coming up here pretty soon. But nonetheless, I got Joe Hendry retaining. And I also think this is Ricky Saints' last chance, at least against Joe Hendry, for the NXT Championship. Gotta move him away from this shtick and this friggin' rivalry, in my opinion. Joe Hendry to retain. 2 Joes, 1 Tony D. How you doing? JJ, you close things out. What's the future of the NXT Championship? Who leads with the gold and who stands and delivers in the main event as the face of NXT going forward? The floor is yours.
Well, you said something in that little diatribe of yours that I found interesting.
Do tell.
You said it's only a matter of time until we see Joe Hendry and Danhausen in the same frame.
Damn it. I said his name and he appeared.
Yes, we're cursed.
Well, I mean,
You feel we're cursed now.
That's not the cursed thing, but maybe he's cursing the cameraman. I mean, Joe Hendry endorsed him with the Triple H point of the future. Are you not entertained?
Joe Housen.
You know what? That makes sense why Nick keeps going crazy. He might be cursed. That's why he keeps getting on the island by himself.
Joe Housen. Really?
We still need Truthhausen.
Oh my gosh. Continue.
So I was completely prepared to play my Emmanuel card for this match.
Oh God.
And then Charles opened his mouth and stole my pick because I too have Tony D.
Wow. This is an interesting
Like
split.
he said when I spoke, for a lot of the same reasons. Look, they just did this whole character overhaul for him.
Right.
There has to be a reason. Ethan Page could be slotted onto the main roster tomorrow, and he's good.
Accurate.
Ricky Saints can be slotted onto the main roster tomorrow. He's good. Joe Hendry could have been slotted into the main roster as soon as he debuted.
You were thinking he would.
But he did time in NXT.
It still is.
I think Saturday's his swan song. I think Joe Hendry goes to the main roster. We've already had Ethan Page as champion. I think we get Tony D as champion. Completes his triple threat. Gives him a solid run as champion with this new and improved evolution to his gimmick. And then maybe come next year, Tony D moves up to the main roster. Very much in the same way that they did Trick Williams. Very much in the same way they did Braun Breaker. We know you can do this. Now let's see if you can do this before we get you up there.
It's ironic you say Javon Evans because last year's main event stand delivered was Javon Evans, Oba Femi, and Trick Williams. And they all got pushed to the main roster this year in January. And all three of them are involved at this year's WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, you got Tony D finally achieving the dream of the NXT championship.
I do. And while I don't think we'll get a D'Angelo family reunion,
Highly unlikely.
because we need to keep Stacks doing what he's doing with Ariana and the Birthright. But what's Rizzo been up to lately? I could see Rizzo possibly realigning with Tony D. Just valet wrestler, not D'Angelo family, but she ain't been doing fuck all since the family broke up. I think she was injured, but depending on where she is in her rehab, I could still see her making appearances, even if not getting physical.
Okay, that's
and
a fair
Stand and
show.
Deliver would be a great place to kind of reintroduce her.
I mean, again, Stand and Deliver, it's literally the end of the line for many storylines, as the NXT after WrestleMania is supposed to be the reset. And here we are, fast forwarding the clock a little bit in your NXT, not even being part of WrestleMania week festivities. Your reset literally happens the coming Tuesday. Here, it's Stand and Deliver. You either stand out or you literally get shut the fuck out. So this main event pretty much literally proves that, because the last calendar year, to my point, these 4 men have literally spearheaded NXT as the front force of it. So that makes a lot of sense. And you do bring up a lot of great points. It does feel like Ethan, Hendry, and Ricky all have a way forward to the main roster. Tony D, he doesn't. And you're right. Tony D, he came back with a reason. He came back for a purpose. And he literally is the only one in this match that is this generation's NXT original. So it does feel like it makes perfect sense for him to finally get that moment at NXT's grandest stage. But I don't know. Something about this just feels like, to me, they still want to put Joe Hendry down there in NXT. Because you think about, again, the main roster. What's the biggest problem? There's only so many spots that are at the top versus being mid-card, and versus where you're relegated to importance, or you're relegated to, I'm just going to throw you in here because. And I know Joe Hendry has the market value, the entertainment value. So I do think he's the safest in that. But Ricky Saints even pairs a whole different can of worms and a whole different type of campaign to think about. That's also another reason why I look at right now, these 4, and also your NXT did lose 3 of the most prolific names from the last calendar year. They have to have something at that top echelon. So if any of those men leave, that's a big freaking spot to fill that no one in NXT right now is ready for, in my opinion. So I do think that this continues on, but I do think a fatal 4-way removes at least one of these men, challengers, from the equation. And also, Joe Hendry and Tony D, then they're face sure one-on-one. It still could happen. I do think Tony D deserves to be a future NXT champion. I'll give you that. Hell, he beat the Ruler. He's the guy that stopped the Ruler's undefeated run, folks, when he won the NXT North American Championship. Put that in perspective. So it's definitely a valid argument that Tony D can be and deserves to be NXT champion. I just don't think it's underneath this circumstance unless he doesn't pin the champion, and obviously they run this back with the champion as his swan song. Either way, I don't think Joe Hendry leaves NXT after this, but I also right now just don't see Joe Hendry losing this title. So that's why I got Joe Hendry retaining.
And that's fair. That's fair. But I mean, Ethan Page and Ricky Saints have something in common with the WWE champion.
Fair.
Just throwing that out there.
I get that. I get that.
And I could see a potential faction forming with the 3 of them.
Well, they've had a faction last this long, I guess, but nonetheless, about time it finally dies. Maybe more than one. All right, fair enough. Well, that being said, it's 2 Joe Hendrys and 2 Tony D's. Quite interesting. All right, Charles, I did see your hand. What you got to say real quick?
One, before I get to James' point, there at least now Nick is not on the island on his own. I thought I was gonna be all on my own until I stole JJ's point, which I didn't even realize. But hey, it worked out.
But I totally had the manual card graphic loaded. I was going to bring it up on screen.
Well,
I only didn't have
spot.
it in the green room because I didn't want Noah to see it ahead of time.
Well,
smart man. But the second point,
brilliant.
Faction idea with Cody Rhodes and Ricky Saints and even Cody's own legacy. Just saying.
I mean, I guess we're supposed to know who's on the phone. SmackDown, I guess. So, I mean, it's not too far-fetched.
We probably won't find out who was on the phone until WrestleMania.
Oh, you kidding me? Of course, duh. You're fucking kidding me? WWE loves to freaking troll the fans, the freaking red herring. No way in hell.
And
right.
I think that ought to be a WrestleMania bonus question. Who is on the phone? Because I've got 2 very good guesses, and I'm not going to give them away here. I'll save them until we get to simply predicting for Mania.
I hope that they make you eat crow and they actually do it now tomorrow.
If JJ, I swear, if it's the same 2 people I'm also thinking of, I'm going to question our brains more.
You 2 can private chat each other about your thoughts. And
I will say this. You mentioned Cody's own legacy. There should be one of the hints right there. Cody and Randy, and who else were in Legacy?
God.
Shut it. You shut it. Save it on
Charles,
private
I
chat.
think Charles is upset because we are on the same frequency.
Yes, you. Damn it,
Yeah.
JJ.
I'll say it once. I'll say it again. These two share a brain sometimes, and it's very scary in my opinion. But they also share predictions too, and that's
Look,
it for
we're
the
not
predictions.
Jackson and Abel from The Outbreak.
No, you're not.
Damn it.
Damn it.
Two
Anyway,
bodies, one shared brain.
well, two birds, one stone. The brawling birds, and they don't give a fuck, and I love
Two
that.
girls, one cup. What?
Damn it. No. Go to plugs. Go to plugs now. Go to plugs now.
Two girls, one smut.
I'm surrounded by children. Okay, moving on. All right, back here to our regularly scheduled programming, as I am the only man here in the Level Studios. Then, now, never, Lord, never may I be corrupted. Folks, what are your predictions when it comes to Stand Deliver? Who stands tall? Who leaves? Is it anyone's swan song? Do you have new champions? Does Kendal Gray rise to the occasion? Do you believe there's a new NXT Men's World Champion? Let us know your predictions in the chat and the comments down below as we get ready to conclude this. Again, I thank all of you. Let's go around the horn and bid everybody a fine adieu and chill and plug and then get some sleep too. And thank you all again for tuning in as always. Please continue to follow, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, and if nothing else, follow this tagline to know what else is going on within our community. Let's go ahead and get the fuck out of here sooner rather than later. Nick, thank you so much for joining NXT Simply Predicting. I look forward to you joining more of these for other companies. And of course, next week, we will see who forges a dynasty as we talk about legacy when we simply predict AEW Dynasty. At this point, it will be same time, folks, so stay tuned. But go ahead and tell where the people can find you.
You can find me on the app down below. But yeah, we have Simply Predicting next week. We did some really cool things today. You should check out.
Let me talk about that, Nick.
No, yeah. My app is down below. Follow, because it's fun.
There you go. Do it. Just do it. Do it.
Just
do it.
do
now.
it.
Do it. Do it. Get into your ambition to follow us. Do it. All right. Thank you very much,
Couldn't
Nick.
do
Did
that
that mind
right.
trick. Yeah, the team couldn't say it better than we wanted to. All right. Thank you very much, Nick. Charles, always a pleasure, man. Appreciate your voice. Appreciate you bringing the entertainment and also engaging in the madness and not adding to it. Go ahead. And no, don't believe in that. But go ahead and tell people can find you.
Follow me on at the X under 2 Crown, but also believe in JCU.
Never. All right. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
I did not add that. What the fuck? I'm going to remove that after this is done.
Thank you.
This is what happens when there's more than one producer on the screen. He's freaking fighting for power. He's freaking. Never mind. I'm gonna go in a different realm there in a moment. That being said, JJ, always a pleasure. There's so much coming up in the next 2 weeks alone that we only can pray April 21st comes sooner rather than later. But go ahead and tell where the people can find you and promote your channel and your stuff too.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams, YouTube Casa D18 Studios, X Casa D18 Studio, no S at the end. Like Charles said, support Chase University.
Never.
Look at all the graduates and alumni there. I mean, Tyler Bates. You've got Riley Osborne, Duke Hudson, Thea Hale. You've got Ridge Holland, you've got Bodie Hayward, Jacy Jayne, Chucky, yours truly. Make sure you support the accredited university that is Chase University.
The only accreditation that's associated with wrestling is Peraza and Picture. Long may she fucking reign and go to some New Hampshire University. You actually will achieve something. Continue.
As Noah said, make sure you follow the Simply Reliable Studios on X at SR Studios 2024. That is where you will find all of our huge announcements. That's where we have been streaming some of our watch-alongs. That's where we have lately been streaming Saturday Shenanigans as well as our respective YouTube channels. That is where some of you are watching Simply Predicting right now. So thank you to those of you that are watching us on the X.
Thank y'all so much.
But yeah, we've had a lot of stuff these last couple of months. Go back in the archives. Check out all of our interviews. The Princess of Perfection, Rachel Leigh.
Go check out our YouTube channel. You just added another match too.
The Poder Mania champion, Brittany Blake.
Cosplayer, lawyer, wrestler.
Blue Pants herself, Leva Bates.
Everyone's favorite nerd, geek, con, cosplayer, and of course, attendee and video game streamer and wrestler.
The current reigning and defending Ladies Night Out champion, Jasmine Allure, Miss Top Tier herself.
She's top tier indeed for a reason.
The Poder Mania ring announcer and former manager, Heather Lynn.
And appears to be proud, and it's official.
The conduit of karma and the good witch herself, Kaya McKenna.
Hockey advocate as well as a mental health advocate. Looks for sunshine and positivity always in her life. God bless her.
La Leona, the first El Salvadorian wrestler to wrestle in Arena, Mexico.
Wild child lives on the wild side, appreciating life, what nature brings, and living in the moment. And challenging Jasmine Allure for the championship.
All those interviews are also on Spotify. Look us up, look up Saturday Shenanigans on Spotify. You will find all those interviews, as well as our interview with Kelly Bistis from Ladies Night Out and Title Match Network.
Yep.
You've been saying little blurbs after all of them, so I was pausing there for you to say something.
Well, I was gonna, promote Title Match Network and my fame, but I'll go ahead and say right now because he literally is the brainchild behind it. Again, folks, you saw it right there, and you also saw it during our WrestleMania trailer. As we will be covering Ladies Night Out 16. If you want to follow along with the show like us, become a member today at Title Match Network. There'll be a link to that service and the membership page in the description down below. Thank you again, Talia, for your time. And again, if you truly want to support and be an advocate of women's wrestling, follow, subscribe, and watch along on the most prolific platform offering you the most in all things women's wrestling, Title Match Network.
But that isn't where it ends. Earlier this evening, we had the murder surgeon, Dr. Redacted, on for 2 hours.
Jesus.
Talking all things from professional wrestling, death matches, Disney, Muppets, Magic the Gathering, theme parks, you name it. We covered the spectrum, pun intended, as James and Ryan joined us for the interview. All things that go on in the life of the murder surgeon. So check that interview out. This Saturday, barring anything unforeseen, and I'm going to continue to stress it like that because I still have not received confirmation.
Cars are yet to change.
But we will be having everybody's BFF, Izzy Moreno, on the show, pending anything, crazy happening.
All the best to everyone's favorite BFF.
On Tuesday, we will have the emo queen, Brooke Havoc, on for a special interview. A week from tonight, we will have the gold standard, Jocelyn Navarro, on for an interview in a makeup session from the interview that she unfortunately had to cancel the last time. All those interviews will be up on Spotify as well once they are done and in the can. It was announced after the good doctor left us, another interview has been booked. Date is still TBD. It is looking like it'll either be Friday or Saturday, April 24th or 25th. So time will be determined once we know which day it is. but one half of the former House of Glory Tag Team Champions will be joining us. None other than Midas Black from Main Event.
Nice. All right. Thank you for that, SR Studios 24 update, JJ. And thank you for all your continued hard work as you bring all forms of entertainment forward in and out of Cast 18 Studios. And again, have an incredible time during WrestleMania week, as of course, that is going to be here sooner rather than later. And thank you so much for always participating and engaging, even if you don't necessarily watch, but you still believe in what you believe in. Appreciate you always. And again, thank you to all of you.
2 weeks from tonight, it is 10:20 on the West Coast. We'll be 20 minutes into Ladies' Night Out. 2 weeks from tonight.
Yep. Stay tuned for more on that, folks. And shout out to City by the Bay. He's a good dude. Give him a follow, folks. And no, it's not. You still appreciate JJ and the others that are there. I don't need to let my voice there every week. There's so many great voices. And apparently he's just UC and JCW in Vegas. Of course, Big O works there as well. So he'll get to see Alex Crowley probably more than once, if I'm being perfectly honest. Again, have fun with all
I'm
that.
hoping for that. She is one I'm hoping to talk to in person to land an interview, because I adore Big Alice Crowley. I have become a huge fan of hers in the past year, since the GCW Juggalo War started last summer. Her and the Brothers of Funstruction would be a huge coup for me to get for interviews on the channel. And considering I've already spoken in person, just not about interviews, to Ruffo and Yabo, I think I might be able to make things happen.
All the best.
Knock on wood.
All the best. And again, folks, support the wrestlers. Everyone you heard tonight, look them on the X, give them a follow, support them in their journeys to achieve a dream. Much like Nikki Blackheart, that of course became WID. Congrats to her, and stop it. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Let's go ahead and get out of here as I bring you all a little bit of program note on what the Simple Man's brand agenda looks like. Again, thank you all for tuning in. If you want to further engage with me, I am the Simple Man of the Simple Brand, the voice of SRS. Follow me if you choose. I'm at Foster 1916 for all things wrestling, for I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! And boy, are these yahoos going to continue to ensue the madness with me and so much more, because guess what? The coverage does not start Saturday, where I stand deliver play-by-play and friggin' rip a new one in Americanos and Vanity Project, but I also am going to bring you coverage of Global Wars Canada, as we will be covering Ring of Honor and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling Global Wars Canada. That'll be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight here on the East Coast, Friday night. There you see the card right there. We have the Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship, Women's World being defended, as well as the Ring of Honor Women's Pure Championship, and the Maple Leaf Wrestling Pro Tag Team Championships inaugurally will be crowned. Of course, this was seen previously, but we will be doing this as an on-demand retro stream. And yes, Red Velvet's taking on Big O, Alex Crowley. I'm actually looking very forward to that match in the virtuoso. Beyond Perazzo picking things up with a very formidable rival from her TNA career, Giselle Shaw, the quintessential diva and current Maple Leaf Pro Women's World Champion. Again, folks, we'll be covering Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor, Global Wars Canada, here at Cinema Studios, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight on the Cinema Studios. Stay tuned for us right there. You also can follow along, watch along with us, being a member of Honor Club. That's the only way that you can see it. Following that, my crazy ass with our Astros Man That will be coming Sakura Gems. We bring you more Japanese wrestling coverage. That'll be 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. As you see, the most prolific matches on the card right there. Brother's freaking crazy. Yoda defending the IWGP World Championship against, of course, or Heavyweight Championship. Let me get the name right. Against Kyle Newman, winner of this year's New Japan Cup. The Blues, as our little baddie friend Ash likes to say. Saturday, Jr., we had Warrior will go out to the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against Asuka and Yuto Ice Knockout Brothers, and trying to avenge a loss from last year's G1 Climax. The Alpha Gano's Academy will defend the World Television Championship against Shota Umino, and Will Ospreay makes his in-ring return to New Japan Pro Wrestling alongside original United Empire Brethren. And of course, that's just this weekend ahead of the upcoming Saturday shenanigans that will ensue, hosted by the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams. And as far as the predicting, oh boy, is April going to keep us busy. As I talked about with Nick earlier, and as you all heard, the city predicting for April will be as follows. This coming Thursday, 1 week if you're on the West Coast. From the night, we'll be city predicting AEW Dynasty, where we will talk further if a god can beat a devil for the richest prize in professional wrestling. Rebellion will be the same day. Coverage to be determined based on financial budgeting. We will be predicting TNA Rebellion, though, the following Saturday, of course, April 11th, 2 minutes standard time. Of course, the show will be on that night. Stay tuned. We actually cover that based on funds. And, of course, you see them right there, big, as we go from a wasteland into the future. WrestleMania! Both nights will be simultaneously predicting coverages of match outlooks. Back-to-back nights. The Monday of that week will be WrestleMania Saturday, and the Tuesday of that week will be WrestleMania Sunday. And of course, that kicks off the Simple Man's, God help me, WrestleMania week-long agenda. There you see everything that I will be involved in covering live and doing. It starts with City Predicting, followed by Pull Down Mania. Again, follow Ed and Silly Joe today on the X. Get your tickets today or become a member of Time Match Network to watch the show along with us. We also becoming Progress Wrestling, the WID Showcase, Ladies Night Out 16, Stardom's American Dream Queendom 2026, same show we covered last year. And of course, the weekend will involve both nights covered of WrestleMania, as well as the first time ever in Samoa Studios history, Spark Joshi, Lady Luck 2. Names from AEW, Spark Joshi, Stardom, and more will be involved in that all-women's Japanese wrestling showcase, including some of my favorites like Hazuki. And of course, that leads into Sunday night with WrestleMania, as well as me hosting what will be probably the longest hoarse voice edition of the Sunday shenanigans, midnight style probably, as well as going into Monday some point with Papadino for Ridiculous Postmortem and concluding the entire 7-day-long week live schedule for me with the Raw after WrestleMania. Lord fucking help me. And of course,
I do wanna just throw the graphic back up there. The Spark Joshi Pro is pending finding the website that is airing it.
yeah,
Because as of right now, I still don't know if it'll be on Triller, Title Match Network, or somewhere else. So that is still a question mark, but everything else is accurate.
Yeah, fair enough. Again, they might change things. Again, cards have to change. But yeah, folks, from the Monday to the following Monday, I am non-stop live each fucking day and night. What the fuck am I thinking? And of course, you see it right there, politically Wednesday evening. It is truly the start of the entire WrestleMania week festivities. Puda Mania. As you see this prolific, incredible card right here. Again, you still have a chance to get your tickets for this show or become a member of Title Match Network. Links will be in the description down below. Support this incredible all-women's wrestling showcase with the Puda Mania and the Ladies Night Out Title Match Network Championships will be on the line on this incredible, dynamic card of all-women's professional wrestling. And that's all I have to say, promote, announce, discuss, and further encourage amongst all of you. But as always, I like to leave you. There are no winners, there are no losers, there are no betters. Just fans' own opinions with this passion we all share. So at the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families no matter how much they annoy you, and just be alive and enjoy professional wrestling. It is truly as simple as that. With that being said,
you love us though, Noah. As crazy as we drive you, you still love us.
Love is a hard
Exactly.
word
You
sometimes.
take a nap before you do these because you know you're going to need your rest for the zany craziness, and then you pop a couple of ibuprofen afterwards and go memes again.
This is 110% accurate. Love is a strong, long word, despite being only 4 letters. Sometimes a lot harder to say versus produce. But actions speak louder than words. They're the reason why I'm still here with you, yahoos. God bless you. And God bless all of you for tuning in and continue to follow along with us. Again, here are the other friends in Samoa Studios that I encourage you to follow as well. Follow the Rage of Wrestling Walter Cruz, as Tiffany Nueves told you to. You see it right there at X Wild Hours Cruz, but the brainchild, the Rage of Wrestling on YouTube. Become a member of that Madman's Army today. And speaking of being mad, why not be mighty? Follow our Mighty Morphin Pink Power Ranger, Datila, at Rangers of Wrestling. They you see in the social medias via Twix, YouTube, and the X. You heard her name earlier. She is my Senior Pro Wrestling aficionado friend, Follow Bad for Wrestling at Shadow Bad Ash. And again, follow her channel, subscribe, grow her numbers. Don't be a dickhead. Freaking Ash. And again, you heard Cascading Studios, you heard me, you heard Nick, you heard Charles. You know us all by now. And again, it's not about me, it's about wrestling. But clearly, YouTube is a catalyst of a platform to encourage us to just enjoy life for professional wrestling. At the end of the day, follow me on YouTube. Only follow me on X if you want to be part of Predictions League or want a positive hello or proof in your life or an outlook on AEW, because that's probably the only other thing I do on X, because AEW is freaking awesome for me as a fan. And so is Japanese wrestling. And so is all of you. So again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, and tell a friend. Hit the bell as video goes live on demand on any of the YouTube channels here or the X here at the Simply Reliable Studios family. And hit the subscribe button, because I assure you, as JJ so eloquently put it, the content, the creativity, the madness that I moderate or participate in, sometimes on an actual deadline, except here when I literally host this far away, close to 175 episodes, I think, is not going to let up as long as there's oxygen in our lungs, and the passion will continue to pursue, as long as you all continue to allow it and encourage it. And with that being said, I thank all of you. So again, in Can I Make It Fashion, I bid you all a fine adieu. And again, we cover specials, not TV. Maybe the vision, a real vision of the Simply Reliable Studios next year could be week by week coverage of some wrestling company, but you're not getting that this year. We're not that damn crazy yet. Don't get ideas. But thank you all so much for JJ, for everyone in the chat, including my friend City by the Bay. And thank you again to all those that did engage, whether you had inquiries or you gave your own predictions. Grant Atkinson, Sean Garner, War Hero 99, you stalkers and sleepers, of course, that may not chat or maybe introverted like me and may be afraid to express yourself, but don't be. Be honest, be fair, be kind, be better. And again, whether you celebrate Easter or whether you have a different celebration in our wrestling this weekend, I hope that you all just make the most you can with each and every day, as time is never truly forever and tomorrow's never guaranteed. For everybody here at the panel, I'm Noel Foster, thanking all of you once more and reminding you to make a positive impact in life and have a good night. And thank you for tuning in to another crazy edition of Silly Predicting as we stand and deliver with NXT this Saturday ahead of the WrestleMania week-long festivities. Have a good night, folks, and we'll see you next time here at the Simply Reliable Studios. Take care. And I'm immediately hitting the button before someone does the stupid
Believe in Chase University.
Never.
Believe.
Oh, by the way, shout out to Emmanuel, United Games and Movies, and the Mingus as well. Emmanuel and Arlene, appreciate you both always. As Arlene gets a real education, not a false one from an accredited university that died a long time ago, despite the fact it's got new students in summer's purgatory. Anyway, thanks, folks. Nope, you're not saying anything else. I'm hitting the button. Have a good night, folks.
Believe in Joe Hendry.
Fucker!
He appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
One of these
Or
days.
be cursed.
What? Shut the fuck up! One of these days, I'm gonna beat you to the fucking button. I swear on everything that's pure in my soul. Still. Have a good night, folks. We'll see you for Stand Deliver. Take care.